I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about employee ownership trusts, what exactly they are, how they should be structured, and what the benefits might be for your company. To put it simply, there's never been a better time for companies to move to an employee ownership structure. Since September 2014, shareholders have been able to sell, as a minimum, a controlling interest in their company to the corporate trustee of an employee ownership trust, or EOT for short. In 2021, 285 companies across a variety of sectors became employee owned, which is a 105% increase on the previous year. As at the start of June 2022, there were 1,030 employee-owned businesses, meaning that employee-owned sector has more than doubled between 2020 and 2022 and is now the fastest growing SME business ownership model. So what do we mean by employee ownership? Prior to the EOT legislation in 2014, typical employee-owned companies were owned by employee benefit trusts, or EBTs, which is a form of indirect ownership, or what people often refer to as the John Lewis model. Or shares were held by a wide group of employees, referred to as direct ownership, where employees hold actual share certificates or some form of combination between the two. Arguably, one of the most important benefits of being an employee-owned business, and the element that the government was really trying to foster with the introduction of the EOT legislation, is the fact that employees have a stake in their company and the greater employee engagement and commitment that results from this. Employee ownership is as close as a company can get to reflecting the culture and business model of a traditional partnership structure. Though from a legal and tax perspective, the structures are of course very different. So, how is a sale to an employee ownership trust structured? Well, there are three key steps. A qualifying EOT is established with a trustee, which could be a corporate or it could be individuals. The shareholders in the trading company or holding company of a trading group will sell, as a minimum, a controlling interest in their company to the trustee. This will be under the form of a share purchase agreement, or SPA. The amount paid for the shares will be determined by an independent third party. And part of the purchase price may be paid up front, and we often refer to this as the initial consideration, and the balance is left outstanding as a debt owed by the trustee to the former shareholders, which we often refer to as the deferred consideration. The trading company will then continue to generate profits each year and will use the post-tax profits to make payments to the trust. The EOT will use the payments to pay off the deferred consideration that it owes to the former shareholders over time. So, what are the advantages of selling your company to an employee ownership trust? Well, there are numerous advantages for the shareholders, the key management, and of course, the employees. Some of the key benefits are that it creates an immediate purchaser, being the group's employees, for a trading company of any size, operating in any sector, where ordinarily the employees may not have sufficient funds or risk appetite to buy out the majority shareholders. It also addresses succession issues and preserves the business's values and its culture, which is extremely important. Employees usually take a more active and constructive interest in the business for which they have a stake, and shareholders are able to sell their shares for full market value, and a full statutory CGT relief should be available to individual UK resident shareholders. Companies owned by an EOT can pay tax-free bonuses to their employees of up to £3,600 per year, and an EOT is often seen as a friendlier purchaser than the usual third-party acquirer. And this means that the sale process tends to be quicker, with lower professional fees, and often means that the management team are not distracted by months of due diligence and negotiation, only for the transaction potentially to fall away at some point. If the company already has a form of employee ownership in place, then the move towards an EOT structure may be a natural progression, where the wider workforce is the company's most significant asset, and often that is the case. An EOT looks like an obvious cultural fit and a fantastic way to lock in, firstly, greater employee engagement and commitment. And as you would expect, employee owners are more likely to be engaged with their company if they benefit from its success. And many of my clients have said that it's been a game changer for their business's ability to attract key talent and also retain it. The second is improved business performance. This is a really big benefit, especially in these very turbulent times. In 2021, the employee ownership top 50 companies enjoyed median productivity growth of 9.4% on a like-for-like basis, or 5.2% as a whole, double the average of the 2.6% in the UK. In addition, the Ownership Dividend Report published in 2018 states that employee-owned businesses tend to be more productive with stronger growth and performance. If you're thinking of selling your company now or at any time in the future, we have a wealth of experience advising companies across all sizes and all sectors. Due to the number of clients now transitioning to EOT ownership models, we're not only one of the market leaders in the employee ownership space, but our pricing structure is arguably one of the most competitive. Employee ownership is now the main alternative to a standard trade sale. So please do get in touch with me or one of your usual BDO contacts to discuss whether we can help you sell your business to your employees via the fastest growing SME business ownership model in the UK.